In this video, you will learn how to create a JSON export definition in ConnectIT and learn more about the basic settings in the export definition card using the wizard, table triggers, and processing a definition. In the previous training videos, we have explained general functionalities like creating a backup or use functions. We recommend to watch all training material to get a good understanding about the functionalities that ConnectIT provides. We will start with a basic explanation of a JSON export definition. Click on the menu item Export Definition. In the menu Example Definitions, you will find examples definitions if this was selected when setting it up. Let's open the example sales price as JSON. Although there are other file types, we will start with JSON files. In other videos, we will also explain more about XML, Excel, and CSV. In the field data format, the file type JSON is selected. This means that we are going to export only JSON files. The method manually is selected, so I can export a file from the definition card. First, we are going to take a look at the definition lines. In the definition lines, the mapping is defined. The field type describes what the field is. Most common values are helper, data item, constant value, and field. A data item is connected to the BC table where you want to export data from, and in the field, you select the field from the table that needs to be exported. The helper is used when it is a required element in the file, but doesn't have a value, and the field doesn't have to be exported from BC. A data item is used to connect an element to a table in BC. In this example, it is the sales price and discount table. All tables in BC can be used, even custom tables or other app tables. The value field is connecting a BC field from the selected table to the external field name. All fields from the table in BC can be used, even custom fields or fields from other apps. In the field number, it is possible to select a table or a field. The caption will be automatically filled. If you select a constant value, you can add a field and value that is not available in BC. You can set the constant value or create a value with a function. The data item is used to decide what type of field we are sending. And the element name is the name that the external party can receive. Then there is the function field. In the functions, you can store temporary values, transform the data, or get other values from other tables. In previous training, you have seen how you can work with functions on the import side. The export side works exactly the same. Then we have the filter column, where it is possible to set a filter on the data item level. For example, if you only want to send a sales price list for a specific customer group. The key field number is used to create the relation between multiple headers. In this case, we combine the sales price and discount together based on the key fields. The checkmark output is used to have control on what fields should be added in the export file. Output conditions are used to create a condition based on a field value. For example, only items that start with an S. Note that the filters are on data item level and the conditions can be on field level. Array is used to create an export file that contains multiple lines based on the key fields. For example, in this case, if you have the checkmark off, there will be multiple files per sales price. If turned on, there is one file with multiple sales prices. Let's process this export to see how the file looks like. When you go to the Process button, you see two options. Create Example. Export is used to export an example file based on the first record, and Export is to create all files or the complete file in case of an array. If we click on Export, there is an export entry created. Click in the green bar on top to open the entry. Here you can see the data that will be exported. When we click on Process, the file is created. Because I selected manual, it will be created as a download file. Let's open the download. The file is created exactly the same as in the entry. We have seen how an existing export works in highlights. It is time to create a new export definition with the wizard. I have prepared an example file with items. If I open the file, we see that there are multiple tables that we need to use. Not all this information is in the item table. We also need to set some extra tables. Click on New and then set the description. Click on Create Definition Lines and the wizard will be opened. Now drag-drop the file in the page. The first element is the root element and is a data item, so we turn this on. This can be connected to the item table 27. Click on Next. The unit of measure can be set from the item card, so we will skip this data item. Click on Next and select the item unit of measure table 5404. Click on Next and select the item reference table 5777. Click on Next and now you have finished the wizard. If you take a look at the definition lines, you will see that all the layers available in the file are set with the selected tables. We have skipped the bars unit of measure, which is now a helper. We see that some fields are set that are similar, like the fields in the file. There is a message that we need to set the key fields, and we still need to set up some extra things also to make this work. First, we need to set the key fields, but before I do this, I will also turn the array option on. In this case, we have all items in one file. So now we will connect the selected tables to the item table by the item number. For the item unit of measure table, there is no item number set. We'll create a new line and add the item number. Then select the key field and turn off the output field, so the external party will not see this field. If we take a look at the vendor information that is connected to the item reference table, the item number is there, so we can select the item number from the item table as a key field. We will also turn the array option on, because I want to show you something. Let's create our first export. If we open the export queue, we see that there is a problem with the vendor information. There are multiple lines in the outcome, but a vendor number should be unique. Let's check out in the item reference table what could be the problem. Aha, we see now that there can be more records per item number. In the item reference table, it is also possible to set up external item numbers for customers or set up a barcode. We need to filter based on the type to only use the vendor information. To do this, we need to add a new field type from the reference table and then set the filter on vendor and turn off the output. In the definition lines also some fields are not set, so let's set this up one by one. Starting with the base UOM, and select the field from BC. Then the international standard code is a constant value, so we will change the type into constant value and then add the value yes. We do the same thing for the UOM INT STD code. Then set the vendor number. The unit cost is not available from the item reference table, so we will pick this up from the item card and set this as a temporary value. To do this, we need to go to the level of the item and add a new field. Select the field unit cost and turn the output field off. Now we're going to add the function setEmpVal and create a unique code for the value of this field. After this, we go back to the field at the item reference table. And go to the functions and select getEmpVal. Add the code here. The last field to set is the price including VAT. This is a field available in the table. Now we are all set, let's check how the output looks like. Click on Process and Export. And open the entry by clicking on the green bar. We can see that the vendor information is only filled with the vendor information. All the other records for customers, etc., are gone. Are we happy with the result? Yes, I am happy this looks. In the previous chapter, we have created a mapping to export. If you want to automate the process more, it is possible to add a table trigger. When the table trigger is active, it will keep track of changes, inserts, or delete actions in a table. You can set the fields you want to monitor. It is only possible to monitor one table. First, we are going to set it up and then see how it works. Go to the Table Trigger tab and click on the button field monitors. A new page will open. Go to Manage and click on New. Activate the table monitor and select what kind of events you want to track. I will explain the options. Monitor ConnectIT records only will track records that are imported by ConnectIT. Monitor insertions will track all new records. Monitor modifications will track changes on fields. Monitor deletions will track if a record is deleted. Monitor renames is keeping track if key fields are changed. With the option Exclude Fields, you can also exclude fields from tracking. Standard fields will be included when set in the monitored fields. With the button on top Add Definition Fields, you can add all the fields that are used in the definition at once. If I leave the page, the session needs to restart. Click on Yes to proceed. Now we have set it up, I will demonstrate what happens if I change an item name. I will go to the items in BC and the change a description of one item. If I am ready, I can see the result of the table monitor and ConnectIT. Let's go to the Related button and click on Export Queue. We see here all the records that have changed and ready to be exported. In the export definition, there are also some general settings that can be done to automate the process more. In the General tab, you can change the method. In another training, I'll explain more about all the methods and how to set these up. Then there is an encoding option. Default is UTF-8 encoding. This setting is essential because it provides a single universal way to represent all characters from any language while remaining fully compatible with the other standards. Please contact the external party that will receive this file what type of encoding is needed. The file name template can be used to create the right name for the file so you will have a unique file when exporting. On our support page, all the default tags are explained, and you can add temporary values that are set by the setTemval function. In the Processing Rules tab, it is possible to set the Use Endpoints field. In this case, a new tab will be visible where endpoints can be added. This will be explained in another training. The option Save Export System IDs will save the GUID that is created when exported. In this way, when exchanging data via import, it will use the system ID to recognize the record. Sometimes the external identifier is not enough, especially when there are multiple tables used. Allow Empty Content will create an empty file when there is no data. This can happen when you schedule a job and a table monitor is set. It can be possible that no data has changed. Maximum records per array will make sure that the set amount of records is the maximum that can be exported. Maximum number of retry attempts is used when there is an error. ConnectIT will try again but will stop after the maximum that is set. Processing delay can be used to add some time between multiple exports. This can be used if the other party needs some more time to process the file. In the Flow tab, it is possible to add standard or business central code units before exporting or after exporting. For example, when exporting an item, to change the workflow of an item to released. Besides this, it is possible to group multiple code units in one task. In another training, I will explain more about using the flows. In the Recurrence tab, a schedule can be set. When choosing real-time export, all the data will be sent immediately. With the recurring job, it is possible to schedule on what days and times the export should run. When you don't use a table monitor, all data will be sent. The advanced schedule can be set up to create a schema for exporting, with, for example, a date formula. Now we go to the Alerts tab. You can set up an email address when there is a success or a failure. SMS and WhatsApp is also possible, but you need a Twilio account for this. If you have the Twilio account, you can add the credential settings in the general settings. In the logging tab, it is possible to change the logging level. The level debugging can be useful when setting up a definition, because you have a detailed overview of all the steps ConnectIT does. In production, we advise to only use the information level. The logs are available in the history fact box and under the related menu. With the project code, it is possible to combine multiple definitions and back up and export all definitions at once. These are all the settings that you can do to fully automate the export process. In this video, you learned how to create a JSON export definition in ConnectIT and learn more about the basic settings in the definition card. ConnectIT 365 includes one free interface, with additional interfaces available. Thank you for watching. Follow us at www.idin.nl to check out other products. Happy connecting!
IDIN. Simplify your workflow. Explore the perfect fit for your industry at idin.nl.